In this video, I want to take you guys through a trip down memory lane in my older collection where I had bottles of fragrances I really wish I'd kept. I reminisce about certain scents where I see other people enjoying them and I kind of get a little bit sad. When you're a fragrance collector, I feel like unless you have infinite space in your house, I don't, I live in London, the space is not infinite here, you kind of have to streamline down your fragrance collection every so often to make sure you're not overrun with fragrances. Especially myself, I always say I go for quality over quantity. I try to go and abide by that myself, but often there are just some fragrances I just don't go for, I don't reach. So even if a fragrance is great, I will give them away anyways just because I like having space. I don't like being a hoarder. Today I'm going to go through 9 fragrances that I actually regret giving the bottles away for, or most of these I think I gave away to friends or family. And I'm going to tell you why I regret giving them away, what I think about these fragrances in general, and maybe this video can be a warning to some of you who want to keep certain scents or are wondering if they should get rid of certain fragrances, or if you own any of these fragrances that I now don't have, maybe you will keep them now after watching this video. So let's begin. The first fragrance I regret giving away, I don't even know if I gave it away. What happened to this fragrance? I'm not even sure. I think some of these are sold in Facebook swapping and selling groups. By the way, that's a great way to cut down your collection. You can just sell it to people, sell your fragrance bottles secondhand on Facebook, look up your local group and see if you can do it, if it's available to you. But Dunhill Icon, that was the first fragrance that's going to be on this list. That is a fragrance I'm very sad I got rid of. Dunhill Icon is a fantastic, or was a fantastic cheapie. I'm not sure how much it costs nowadays, but you can often, back in the day, get a 100 ml for £30, and it always smelled much higher quality than the price tag suggested. It was the kind of fragrance that would get you compliments in the opening, because that was when it was at its best. I felt like the pepper and the neroli and the citruses were super bright. It was clean and professional, a really sexy masculine DNA that I really loved owning. I actually owned 2 bottles of it at one point. I don't know how I've gone from 2 to 0 bottles of it. Maybe because I wanted an old batch. I thought actually it just didn't perform that well. That was my biggest gripe with the fragrance. I felt like I was going anosmic to it very quickly. I felt like it just disappeared off my skin after a few hours, like 2 hours. So I really loved the scent for those 2 hours, but I just couldn't justify keeping it in my collection because of how bad the performance was. It was really sad. Even with the older bottle, I just felt like I was going anosmic. It was very sad. Maybe other guys got better performance with it, but I still think the perfumery, the blend itself is phenomenal, a very unique blend. I'm not sure if I will get another bottle now, but if you do have this fragrance, if you still have Dunhill Icon, the original guys, do you enjoy having it in your collection? Do you recommend people to keep that fragrance? Guerlain L'Homme Idéal Cologne. Again, another fragrance that was a cheapie, that was much higher quality than its price tag. You can get it for like 20, 25 pounds back in the day before it got discontinued. It was a beautiful, unique summer fragrance that had the iconic almond note from the L'Homme Idéal line mixed with lemon, and it was very creamy at the same time. It was almost the same quality as Allure Homme Edition Blanche by Chanel, but I think Edition Blanche smells more sexy than L'Homme Idéal Cologne was. L'Homme Idéal Cologne smelled very artistic, beautiful, and creative, but at the same time, it didn't feel particularly sexy. It felt more like a relaxing, calming scent, sort of like Silver Mountain Water by Creed. That's more of a calming, relaxing fragrance. That's the same kind of category I would put L'Homme Idéal Cologne in. It's a shame it's discontinued now, but it was a very smooth and creative scent, really great blend, and it was pretty good in performance as well, around 6 to 8 hours. Do any of you still own it? What do you think about this fragrance? 32% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys want to see our channel grow, to really help us out, click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. Prada Luna Rossa Sport. I feel like the Luna Rossa line is a little bit underrated in general, and Luna Rossa Sport was a very useful scent. It was a clean take on the OG Le Male is how I would see it. It's basically Prada's take, Prada's style on that idea. They toned down the DNA, made it a little more simple, focused more on soapy, lavender, vanilla. It was a bright, clean vanilla fragrance you can wear even in the warm weather with pretty good performance also. 8 hours longevity, soft projection, which was really cool. Just due to the fact that it was a vanilla scent you could wear in the summertime. That's very unique, very useful. If you want some sweetness in your summer collection, that was the fragrance to do it for me. Unfortunately, I gave it away, maybe because I had Reflection Man, I had Le Mal, and I had Prada and Rosa Sport. Maybe once you have a DNA replicated too many times in your collection, you just don't reach for it. Maybe that's why I got rid of it, but it's a good scent, very solid, as usual by Prada. Prada Amber Pour Homme, the rectangular purple bottle. Why on earth did I give this away? I don't even know what I did with this bottle. I love this fragrance. It is one of the best. It's probably still to this day tied with Prada L'Homme Intense, one of the best fragrances ever made by Prada. It was such a unique, creative, soapy scent. I think I gave it away because it was discontinued. So as a reviewer, I thought, you know, should I be holding on to these discontinued scents? I can't really talk about them that much on the channel. I should have just kept it anyways. It was so creative. It was spicy, clean, powdery, ambery perfumery that was really long lasting, over 12 hours. It smelled like the most elegant bar of soap you've ever smelled in your life. It smelled, and as the bottle looks essentially, it was pure elegance in a bottle. It smelled like a lavender scent, but even though it wasn't actually listed as a note, but it gave off that effect. A really creative, cool, spicy, soapy scent that really hasn't been recreated to this day. I don't think anything really comes close to it. If you still have a bottle, I definitely recommend you hold on to that and keep it. Acqua di Gio Profumo. Now, a lot of people hype this up in the community. I never actually liked this flanker that much. I actually preferred Essenza. I felt Essenza was a bit more lively, had more character. Profumo felt like the more subdued, but more refined, classy take on Acqua di Gio. Made a bit more dark, made a bit more mature with the patchouli and the incense, giving it a more evening appeal. So it felt like it was a really good scent for a mature gentleman to wear both in the day and the nighttime all year round, which is really cool. I feel like in the Acqua di Gio line in general, you don't need to own too many of their scents. I used to own Acqua di Gio Absolu. I don't mind that I gave that away, whatever. I can just safely say that's fine. But Profumo, I feel like was one of the better flankers. I still think it is, even though I'm not on the hype as much as you probably are. Most people watching this love the fragrance. I still think it's a cool fragrance to keep, and I should have kept it really, because I feel like nowadays, Profumo, if you still have a bottle, and Parfum are the two best flankers from the DNA currently. Essenza is long discontinued. It went off the shelves a long time ago, but those two flankers are great. Yves Saint Laurent Rive Gauche. I used to own the black tin can version, a really old formulation. They had that really old bottle, and then they had the small square bottle, and even that's discontinued now. So that tin can stuff, that was the OG, the good stuff. That stuff was clean, fresh, soapy, barbershop perfumery that lasted all day long, easily over 10 hours. Probably what inspired Tom Ford's Beau du Jour and Tom Ford's Fougère d'Argent. I think the older variations, the older batches of Tom Ford Fougère d'Argent are better blended than Rive Gauche, but I definitely think Rive Gauche walked so Fougère d'Argent could run, especially due to the fact that I'm pretty sure it was Tom Ford himself who came up with the creative direction of Rive Gauche, because I think he was the creative director of YSL at that time. It feels like it was his baby. I definitely think he likes Fougères, if you look at his own brand, even nowadays also. And Rive Gauche just sort of brought back the barbershop scent into modern times. This was early 2000s. I feel like maybe it was dying down as an idea, as a fragrance family. Probably smelled a little bit outdated for that time, but he brought it back with Rive Gauche. I think at that time, it was many of the aquatics that were dominating the scene in the early 2000s. Rive Gauche, though, is super classy. One of the best, most spicy, creamy, classy lavender Fougère barbershop fragrances ever made. It's one of my favorite families. I definitely wish I kept that bottle, because I could probably sell it for like £1,000 now anyways, but I would have kept it just because of the artistic merits. I really wish I had kept it. Have you guys experienced Rive Gauche? I think it's a classic. It's a really great scent. Encre Noire Sport. Really great value for money. A good quality cheapie that just smells a lot higher quality than its price tag. And I got it back in the day as a blind buy, and it wasn't to my style, but I still think I should have kept it for the artistic merit. It smelled like an aquatic black ink scent. That's how I would have described it, and it lasted a good amount of time, around 6 to 8 hours. It's very smooth, easy to like. I feel like a very sensitive, creative soul, like a writer or something like that, chilling in a cafe in the summertime would wear something like Encre Noire Sport. Very cool. It's almost like an introspective kind of phrase, something you really enjoy for yourself, maybe something that would inspire you whilst you're creating. And I think that's a cool idea. So in the Encre Noire line, the original 3, I would put Encre Noire Extreme at the top, number 1, which I still own, then Sport, and then the original. I had the original as well. I don't mind that I gave that one away. Roja Elysium Parfum Cologne, the blue bottle. This was actually a really nice scent. Now, I like to hate on Roja most of the time. I do think a lot of the stuff is overpriced probably, but Elysium is one of his most famous scents just due to the fact that I think it's very accessible, very easy to understand. It's smoky citrus with a dry, clean, crisp vetiver. It's very smooth and it lasts around 6 to 8 hours. I think just due to the fact that I felt like it was competing with the Aventus style. Now, I'm not saying it's an Aventus clone, definitely not, but it feels it's in that style of Tygar, Aventus, Elysium, smoky, citrus. It's going for that similar appeal, I would say. But it was very smooth, and that's what I liked about it. I kind of miss it when I reminisce about it, just because it was super easy to wear. I feel like if you want just a really classy, easy done reach, Elysium is the fragrance to do it for you. It just can't offend anyone in my opinion. It's very, very easy to like. I'm not sure if it's worth the price, but maybe I will go and check out the Extrait. Apparently that's the best version of Elysium. Maybe I'll buy that bottle, but tell me guys, do you own Roja Elysium? What are your thoughts on it? Is it worth keeping as a bottle? Tom Ford Grey Vetiver. A masterpiece. I don't know why I got rid of it. Maybe because I'm not the hugest fan of smoky vetiver scents. It is definitely a smoky vetiver. I actually think it can be compared to Guerlain's vetiver, which is also a smoky vetiver traditional scent. I think it's actually a revival of the original 60s formulation of that fragrance. That is definitely more old school, more mature. Tom Ford Grey Vetiver is Tom Ford's usual approach of modernizing these old school concepts. Very smooth, but still a bit smoky, bright citrus, white floral vetiver that's very professional, classy, quite linear, 8 hours longevity with a soft projection. It's definitely the perfect office scent if you want to smell like class basically in a bottle. If you want to be a successful man in a suit, let's say, that's the kind of fragrance for you. Maybe it was due to the fact that it's quite a simple scent, maybe that's why I gave it away, but it's such a beautiful blend. Simplicity doesn't always mean it's a bad fragrance, so maybe I made a mistake there. And lastly, Sospiro Vibrato. This is a fragrance I regret giving away. I actually gave it away to someone I knew as an acquaintance just because I wanted him to get into the world of fragrances. It was because, I remember why, it was because he was wearing Sauvage Elixir in the middle of summer in really intense heat. And I was just thinking to myself, this guy needs to learn not to do that. So I was telling him about the fact that I like fragrances, my passion, and he was really intrigued. He's a really cool guy. I had Sospiro Vibrato and I also had Black Panther by Alexandria fragrances. I kind of felt like, did I need more than one Tygar-esque DNA? They're both similar to Tygar. I mean, Black Panther is a clone of Tygar. So Sospiro Vibrato is sort of like that Tygar, grapefruits, sandalwood, and ambroxan combo, but it has this green lime fizziness and a touch of white florals and a bit more intensity with the musks. So it's definitely different in its own way to Tygar, but it will remind you of that family, definitely. It was such a beautiful, natural smelling, yet still intensely beastly fragrance. It lasted over 12 hours. The bottle presentation was cool. The scent itself was easy to love, masculine, really sexy DNA actually overall, I would say. And I was just happy to give it to him just to make his day. He was really happy. He smelled great whenever he walked past me wearing that fragrance. So I was happy to enhance his life in that way. But then I took the hit for giving that fragrance away. So Sospiro Vibrato, you must check it out in my opinion. It's a great freshie if you want longevity, you want a beastly fragrance, you definitely should check it out. And that concludes this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed going down memory lane with myself today. Just because I gave a fragrance away doesn't mean it was bad, as I'm going to reiterate that. And it also doesn't mean that I'm now going to repurchase these fragrances, because maybe sometimes it's better just to cut your losses and move on. You had a good time with some of these scents and maybe it's time to look forward and try out new releases. What new fragrances would you like me to try out to try and bring onto this channel here? And what are some fragrances that you regret giving or selling away that you wish you had kept? Let us know in the comments down below, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my previous video on fragrances I regret purchasing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.